The world is filled with noise. Everywhere you turn, voices rise, opinions clash, and distractions pull at your mind. It is a world where people mistake loudness for authority, where quick reactions are seen as intelligence, and where speaking more is often confused with knowing more. And yet, in the midst of all this chaos, there are those who remain silent. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that true power lies not in noise, but in silence. They observe while others argue. They listen while others demand to be heard. They move with purpose while others rush to prove themselves. And in this silence, they hold an advantage that the world does not see: clarity, wisdom, and control. A student once asked his master, "Why do the wisest among us speak so little?" The master took him to a river and asked him to listen. The student closed his eyes and heard the rushing sound of water. "The river is loud," the master said, "but tell me, what do you hear from the mountain?" The student opened his eyes and looked at the great towering peak above him. It stood silent, unmoving, vast. "Nothing, master," the student replied. The master smiled. "Exactly. The mountain does not need to speak to show its strength. It simply is." This is the essence of silence. It is not weakness. It is not avoidance. It is a force, a shield, a discipline that allows those who master it to move through life with greater awareness, greater control, and greater peace. The world has taught people to react, to fill every space with words, to prove themselves through constant speech. But the wisest understand that restraint is not just a choice, it is a necessity. Because in that restraint, there is power, there is clarity, there is control over one's emotions, one's energy, one's direction in life. Most people waste their energy in endless conversations, in arguments that lead nowhere, in speaking simply for the sake of being heard. But those who understand the value of silence know that not every battle needs to be fought. Not every opinion needs a response. Not every invitation to conflict must be accepted. Instead of reacting, they observe. Instead of engaging in meaningless disputes, they conserve their energy. And because of this, when they do choose to speak, their words carry weight. They are heard, they are respected, they are remembered. So ask yourself, how often do you speak when silence would serve you better? How many times have you engaged in a discussion only to regret your words later? How much energy have you spent on arguments that did not deserve your attention? Because the truth is, the world rewards those who know when to remain silent, those who do not react impulsively, those who choose their battles wisely. And the more you practice this discipline, the more control you gain over your own mind. You become like the mountain, unmoved by the storm, steady despite the chaos around you. Most people will never master this. They will continue to believe that power comes from speaking more, reacting faster, proving themselves at every opportunity. But those who rise above, those who command true respect, those who hold unshakable wisdom, they understand that silence is not the absence of speech. It is the presence of something far greater. So what will you choose? Will you continue filling every space with words? Or will you embrace the strength of silence, allowing it to guide you toward greater clarity, greater wisdom, and greater control? Because once you learn the value of restraint, you will realize that the greatest power is not in being heard, but in knowing when to remain silent. There is a reason the strongest minds, the most disciplined individuals, and the wisest souls throughout history have all understood the power of silence. They knew that the mind, when undisturbed by noise and unnecessary conversation, becomes sharper. That clarity is not found in constant talking, but in deep observation. But most people never discover this because they are too busy reacting, too eager to fill every space with their voice, too restless to sit in stillness and listen. not just to the world, but to themselves. A student once asked his master, "Why do I struggle to control my thoughts?" The master led him to a still pond and asked him to look at his reflection. The student stared into the water, seeing his face clearly. Then the master threw a stone into the pond, creating ripples that distorted the reflection. "Now, what do you see?" the master asked. The student frowned. "I see nothing clearly, only movement and chaos." The master nodded. "This is your mind when it is filled with unnecessary noise. Every word spoken without thought, every argument engaged in, every distraction allowed into your mind creates ripples that distort your clarity. If you wish to control your thoughts, you must first learn to still the waters." Most people do not understand this. They mistake mental activity for mental strength. They believe that constantly speaking, constantly engaging, constantly proving their knowledge is a sign of intelligence. But intelligence without control is wasted. Knowledge without wisdom is empty. The greatest minds did not achieve their strength by speaking more. They achieved it by listening more, observing more, thinking more. They allowed themselves the space to process, to analyze, to understand before they spoke, before they acted. And because of that, when they finally did speak, their words carried weight. Their presence commanded respect. So ask yourself, how often do you let your mind be still? How much unnecessary noise do you allow into your life? How many times have you spoken simply because silence made you uncomfortable? Because most people fear silence. They fear being alone with their thoughts. They fear the stillness that forces them to confront their own weaknesses, and so they fill every moment with distractions, with empty conversations, with meaningless debates. But those who embrace silence, who learn to sit with their thoughts, who train themselves to be comfortable in stillness, gain an advantage that others never will. They learn to master their own mind. Most people are like the student staring at a rippling pond, confused as to why they cannot see clearly. But those who understand the power of silence, they train themselves to remain still, to control their reactions, to listen before they speak, to observe before they judge, to think before they respond. And in doing so, they become like the still water, reflecting truth with absolute clarity. So what will you choose? Will you continue letting distractions rule your mind, allowing the endless noise of the world to control your focus, your emotions, your energy? Or will you embrace the discipline of silence, training yourself to remain calm, steady, unshaken? Because once you do, you will realize that true intelligence is not found in speaking more, but in knowing when not to speak at all. Most people live their lives in a state of reaction, responding to every word, engaging in every conflict, allowing their emotions to be dictated by the external world. They believe they are in control, but in reality, they are being pulled in 1,000 directions by distractions, opinions, and meaningless conversations. And the most dangerous part, they do not even realize it. They believe that responding to every situation, having an opinion on everything, and proving themselves through words is a sign of intelligence. But in truth, it is a sign of weakness. It is a lack of control. Because real strength, true mental discipline, is not found in reacting to everything. It is found in knowing what is worth your energy and what is not. It is found in choosing silence when others expect noise. It is found in restraint. A student once asked his master, "How do I gain control over my mind?" The master smiled and handed the student a cup of water. "Hold this," he said. The student took the cup, confused. "Now, walk through the marketplace without spilling a drop." The student carefully stepped through the busy streets, focusing intensely on the cup, making sure not to let a single drop fall. When he returned, the master asked, "What did you see in the market?" The student hesitated. "Nothing, Master. I was too focused on the cup to notice anything else." The Master nodded. "Exactly. When your focus is on what truly matters, the noise of the world fades away. When your energy is controlled, distractions no longer affect you. And when you master this level of discipline, nothing can disturb your peace." Most people never reach this level of control. They allow every small thing to pull them away from their purpose. They let every comment, every opinion, every minor inconvenience disrupt their energy. They react emotionally to situations that do not deserve their attention. They waste hours, days, even years of their lives engaging in battles that do not serve them. But those who master themselves, they are like the student holding the cup. They are focused. They are unmoved. They do not waste their energy on meaningless distractions because they understand that energy is the most valuable currency they have, and they do not spend it carelessly. So ask yourself, how often do you waste your energy? How many times have you let small things ruin your focus? How many battles have you fought that were not even worth fighting? Because the reality is, every time you react emotionally, every time you engage in meaningless conflict, every time you allow someone else to control your state of mind, you are giving away your power. And those who rise above, those who master themselves, those who achieve unshakable discipline, they take their power back. They do not react to everything. They do not waste their time proving themselves. They do not let the opinions of others dictate their emotions. They protect their energy like a warrior protects his home, because they understand that what you give your energy to, you give your life to. Most people will never understand this. They will continue to live in reaction, allowing themselves to be drained by the chaos around them. They will continue to believe that their attention must go everywhere, that they must engage in everything, that they must always respond. But those who rise above, they choose. They choose where to place their energy, where to invest their time, where to direct their focus. And because of that, they are always in control. They are always disciplined. They are always ahead of those who allow themselves to be ruled by distraction. So what will you do? Will you keep wasting your energy on things that do not matter? Or will you take control, focusing only on what truly deserves your attention, training yourself to remain steady no matter what chaos surrounds you? Because once you master this, once you learn to be like the student holding the cup, nothing, no distraction, no opinion, no external force, will ever be able to shake you again. Most people do not realize how much energy they lose every day. They allow their emotions to be manipulated by meaningless conflicts, their time to be consumed by distractions, and their focus to be scattered by things that do not matter. And then they wonder why they feel drained, why they feel lost, why they struggle to make progress in their lives. But the truth is, the reason they feel this way is simple. They have never learned to protect their energy. They have never mastered the art of restraint. They have never disciplined their mind to ignore the noise and focus only on what truly matters. And because of this, they remain trapped in a cycle of exhaustion, confusion, and regret. A student once asked his master, "Why do I feel so tired, even when I do nothing?" The master took him to a well and handed him a bucket with holes in it. "Fill this with water," he said. The student lowered the bucket into the well, pulled it up, but by the time he reached the top, most of the water had leaked out. Frustrated, he tried again, but each time the water slipped through the holes before he could use it. "Master, this is impossible," the student said. The master nodded. "Now you understand. This is what you are doing with your energy. You spend your days trying to fill your mind with strength, but you waste it on things that drain you. And so, no matter how much effort you put in, you always feel empty." Most people live exactly like this. They wake up every morning with a full supply of energy, but instead of using it wisely, they let it leak out through distractions, through unnecessary arguments, through mindless scrolling, through anger over things they cannot control. They give their energy away to people who do not deserve it, to problems that do not matter, to thoughts that weaken them instead of strengthening them, and by the time they reach the end of the day, they wonder why they have nothing left, why they feel drained, unmotivated, and stuck. But those who understand the truth, they seal the holes in their bucket. They protect their energy. They do not allow anything unworthy to drain them. They choose carefully where to invest their focus, their emotions, their effort. And because of this, they are always in control. So ask yourself, where is your energy going? How many things do you allow to drain you every day? How often do you let distractions steal your focus? How many times have you engaged in a conversation, an argument, a situation that left you exhausted but gave you nothing in return? Because if you do not control where your energy goes, it will control you. And the longer you allow yourself to be drained, the harder it will be to break free. Most people never break free. They continue to carry a bucket with holes, pouring in more effort, more motivation, more discipline, only to watch it slip away before they can use it. They continue to let others dictate their emotions, their focus, their state of mind. They continue to waste their energy on things that will never serve them, never build them, never strengthen them. But those who rise above, they take control. They seal the holes. They refuse to give their energy away to anything that does not serve their purpose, and in doing so, they gain an unshakable advantage over those who live in constant exhaustion. So what will you do? Will you continue letting your energy slip away, waking up each morning with strength only to let it be drained by things that do not matter? Or will you take control, protecting your mind, your time, your focus? Because once you do, once you learn to guard your energy like the most valuable resource you have, you will never feel powerless again. Most people live as if their energy is limitless, as if they can afford to waste it on meaningless things, as if they will always have enough to get through the day. But energy is not infinite. It is not something you can throw away and expect to be replenished without effort. It is something that must be guarded, protected, used with precision. And those who fail to understand this wake up every day feeling drained, not because they work too hard, but because they let their focus be stolen by things that did not deserve it. They give their attention to negativity, their time to distractions, their emotions to situations that do nothing but exhaust them, and then they wonder why they feel empty. But the answer is simple. They have been careless with their power. A student once asked his master, "How do I stop feeling tired all the time?" The master handed him a large bowl filled with rice and told him to carry it across the temple courtyard. "Walk slowly and do not let a single grain fall," the master instructed. The student obeyed, moving carefully, his eyes locked on the bowl. He reached the other side, proud that he had not spilled anything. The master smiled and asked, "What did you see along the way?" The student hesitated. "Nothing, master. I was too focused on the rice." The master nodded. "And that is why you succeeded. When your focus is clear, nothing distracts you." But most people, they walk through life with their hands full, yet their eyes wander. They waste their energy looking everywhere but where they should. And in doing so, they lose everything. Most people do not protect their focus. They allow their minds to be scattered, their energy to be divided, their attention to be hijacked by things that do not serve them. They spend hours on distractions and then complain that they do not have time for the things that truly matter. They engage in conversations that drain them, arguments that weaken them, habits that break them down instead of building them up. And then, When they need energy for their real goals, for their real purpose, they have nothing left to give. But those who master themselves, they are like the student with the bowl of rice. Their eyes do not wander, their focus does not drift. They do not allow anything to steal their energy. And because of this, they succeed where others fail. So ask yourself, how many things have stolen your focus today? How many times have you allowed distractions to pull you away from what truly matters? How often have you wasted time on things that leave you feeling exhausted instead of empowered? Because the truth is, your energy goes where your attention flows. And if you are not intentional about what you focus on, you will spend your life chasing things that do not matter while losing sight of the things that do. Most people will never change this. They will continue allowing their energy to be drained by things that do not serve them. They will continue letting distractions control them, letting negativity consume them, letting small problems steal their peace. But those who rise above, they take control. They guard their focus like a warrior protects his sword. They do not allow their energy to be scattered. They do not waste time proving themselves to people who do not matter. They do not let small distractions pull them away from their greater purpose. And because of that, they win, not just in their goals, but in their ability to live with clarity, with purpose, with power. So what will you do? Will you continue allowing your focus to be stolen, your energy to be drained, your time to be wasted? Or will you take control, training your mind to lock in on what truly matters, refusing to let anything weaken your discipline? Because once you master this, once you learn to move through life like the student with the bowl of rice, with complete focus, complete discipline, complete control, you will never again be powerless. There will come a moment when you realize that everything you have ever wanted, everything you have ever dreamed of, has always been within reach, but only for those who have the discipline to claim it. Most people never reach this realization because they are too distracted, too unfocused, too consumed by things that do not serve them. They spend their lives reacting instead of creating, waiting instead of acting, hoping instead of building, and in doing so, they give their power away. But those who understand the truth, they take their power back. They refuse to let their energy be wasted. They refuse to let their focus be scattered. They refuse to live a life ruled by distractions and hesitation. Instead, they commit themselves fully to their path, sharpening their minds like a blade, cutting away everything that does not serve their purpose. A student once asked his master, "How do I stay committed when my mind is always restless?" The master led him to a tree and pointed at a branch. "Try to break it," he said. The student grabbed the branch and snapped it easily. The master then pointed to the trunk. "Now break this." The student laughed. "Master, that is impossible. The trunk is too strong." The master nodded. "That is the difference between a scattered mind and a focused one. A weak mind is like a branch. It snaps easily under pressure. But a strong mind, a disciplined mind, is like the trunk. It does not break. It does not waver. It does not fall apart when challenged." Most people live their lives like the branch. They are fragile, easily broken by distractions, by setbacks, by the smallest inconveniences. Their focus is weak, their discipline inconsistent, their actions scattered. And because of this, they never build anything meaningful. They never achieve mastery. They never reach their full potential. But those who train themselves to be like the trunk, they become unshakable. They develop a level of focus so intense that nothing can break them. They do not allow small problems to derail them. They do not let external forces dictate their emotions. They do not allow fear to stop them from moving forward. And because of that, they accomplish what others cannot. So ask yourself, are you living like the branch or the trunk? Do you break easily when faced with challenges, Or do you stand firm in your purpose? Do you allow small distractions to pull you away from your goals? Or do you remain unshaken, no matter what is happening around you? Because the truth is, strength is not given, it is built. And if you do not build yourself into someone who can withstand the storms of life, you will continue to be broken by them. Most people will never do this. They will continue to live weak, distracted, unfocused lives. They will continue allowing small things to control them. They will continue breaking under pressure instead of standing tall. But those who rise above, they choose discipline over comfort. They choose focus over distraction. They choose to sharpen their minds every single day until they become unbreakable. And once they do, nothing, not fear, not failure, not setbacks, can stop them. So what will you do? Will you continue living like the branch, allowing yourself to be broken by every challenge that comes your way? Or will you commit fully and completely to becoming the trunk, strong, steady, unshakable? Because once you make that decision, once you train your mind to resist distractions, to stay focused, to refuse to break under pressure, you will never again live in weakness. You will move through life with clarity, with discipline, with absolute control. And when that happens, you will no longer hope for success. You will create it. Most people walk through life thinking that their battles are against other people, external circumstances, or the world around them. But the truth is far simpler, yet infinitely more difficult to accept. The real battle is always internal. It is a constant struggle between your fears and your courage, between hesitation and action, between your old habits and the new discipline you must build. It's a quiet war, fought not in dramatic, defining moments, but in thousands of small, seemingly insignificant decisions you make every day. And every single choice matters, because each choice you make either strengthens you or weakens you, moves you forward or pulls you backward, brings you closer to your dreams or pushes them further away. A student once approached his master, troubled and weary. "Master, I'm exhausted. Why does it always feel like life is fighting against me?" The master quietly pointed toward the horizon, where dark clouds gathered, threatening a storm. "Does the mountain fear the storm?" he asked. The student shook his head slowly. "No, master." The master smiled softly. "And why is that?" The student paused, then answered thoughtfully, "Because the mountain cannot be moved by storms." The master nodded gently. Exactly. Those who become truly disciplined, truly powerful, truly focused, they become like mountains. They remain rooted, solid, and strong, not because they have never faced storms, but because they have faced so many storms that they have learned to remain unmoved by them. The student grabbed the branch and snapped it easily. The master then pointed to the trunk. "Now break this." The student laughed. "Master, that is impossible. The trunk is too strong." The master nodded. "That is the difference between a scattered mind and a focused one. A weak mind is like a branch. It snaps easily under pressure. But a strong mind, a disciplined mind, is like the trunk. It does not break. It does not waver. It does not fall apart when challenged." Most people live their lives like the branch. They are fragile, easily broken by distractions, by setbacks, by the smallest inconveniences. Their focus is weak, their discipline inconsistent, their actions scattered. And because of this, they never build anything meaningful. They never achieve mastery. They do not drift. They do not surrender control to external forces. They build themselves deliberately, carefully, consistently, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice, until nothing can shake their foundation. They choose their path every day, no matter how uncomfortable it is. They discipline themselves relentlessly until discipline becomes their nature. Most people will never truly understand what it means to take control of their lives. They will continue to believe that success is about luck, that discipline is a burden, that motivation is something they must wait for. And because of these beliefs, they will remain exactly where they are, stuck in a cycle of hesitation, regret, and unrealized potential. They will wake up every day with the same desires, the same dreams, the same intentions, yet they will do nothing to move forward. And then, years from now, they will look back and wonder where the time went, why their lives did not change, why they never became the person they once believed they could be. But by then, the window will have closed, and the only thing left will be regret. A student once came to his master, frustration written all over his face. "Master, I have been trying to change, but I keep falling back into old habits. I keep delaying. I keep making excuses. What is wrong with me?" The master led him to a field where an old tree stood tall. "Try to push it over," he instructed. The student frowned but obeyed, shoving against the massive trunk with all his strength. The tree did not move. "It's impossible, master," the student admitted. The master nodded. "Now plant a new seed in the ground," he said. The student did as he was told. "Now," the master continued, "push this seed over." The student laughed. "But master, it is not even strong enough to stand yet." The master smiled. "Exactly. If you had pushed that tree when it was just a seed, it would not have become so deeply rooted. But because no one stopped it early, it grew into something that cannot be moved." The student's eyes widened with realization. "So my habits, they are like the tree?" The master nodded. "Yes. The longer you allow them to grow unchecked, the harder they are to remove." Most people do not realize this. They think their hesitation, their distractions, their procrastination are harmless. They believe that delaying just one more day, skipping just one more task, giving in to just one more excuse does not make a difference. But they are wrong. Every action, no matter how small, reinforces a pattern. Every decision either strengthens discipline or weakens it. And the longer you allow weakness to grow, the harder it becomes to break free. So ask yourself, what are you planting in your life right now? Are you planting seeds of discipline, of focus, of relentless action? Or are you allowing hesitation, doubt, and distraction to take root? Because the truth is, every single day, you are either strengthening the habits that will build your success or the habits that will destroy it. There is no in-between. And if you do not take control now, if you do not uproot the weak patterns before they become too strong, you will reach a point where they define you. And by then, changing will feel impossible. Most people will never understand this. They will continue reinforcing the wrong habits, thinking that they have time, that they can always change later, that their excuses do not matter. But those who rise, they take control immediately. They do not allow weakness to settle in. They do not let hesitation grow into something permanent. They move forward before it becomes difficult to do so. And because of that, they master themselves in ways that others never will. So what will you do? Will you keep allowing hesitation to take root, convincing yourself that you will change later? Or will you take action now, uprooting everything that weakens you before it becomes too strong to break? Because the truth is, if you do not take control of your habits, they will take control of you. And once they do, breaking free will feel impossible. The choice is yours. But make no mistake, if you do not choose discipline today, you are choosing regret for tomorrow. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize the harshest truth of all: no one is coming to save you. No one is going to wake you up in the morning and force you to chase your dreams. No one is going to remove distractions for you, silence your doubts for you, or build your discipline for you. If you do not take control of your own life, no one else will. And this is where most people fail. They continue waiting, hoping that something outside of them will push them into action. But nothing comes, no motivation, no miracle, no perfect moment. And so They remain exactly where they are, never realizing that the power to change was always in their hands. A student once asked his master, "How do I find the strength to keep going when I feel weak?" The master led him to a river and pointed at a large stone in the middle of the rushing water. "How long do you think that stone has been there?" the master asked. The student shrugged. "Maybe hundreds of years, master." The master nodded. "And yet, the river has never stopped flowing. The water does not wait for the stone to move. It does not stop and complain that something is in its way. It does not hesitate. It keeps moving, shaping the stone with its persistence. And eventually even the strongest rock will be worn away." The student's eyes widened. "So you are saying I must be like the river?" The master smiled. "Yes, never stop, never hesitate. Never allow an obstacle to make you pause, because if you keep moving, nothing can stand in your way forever." Most people are not like the river. They stop the moment they face resistance. They hesitate the moment things become difficult. They allow obstacles to convince them to slow down, to rethink, to wait. And because of this, they never move forward. They remain stuck, allowing circumstances to dictate their lives instead of shaping their own path. But those who rise, they understand that the only way to succeed is to keep going, no matter what. They do not stop when things get hard. They do not wait for motivation to return. They do not allow fear to hold them back. They push forward like the river, knowing that if they do so long enough, nothing can stop them. So ask yourself, are you moving like the river, or are you allowing the obstacles in your life to hold you back? Are you relentless in your pursuit of your goals, or do you pause every time things become uncomfortable? Because the truth is, nothing in this world can stop you, except you. Your hesitation, your doubt, your unwillingness to take control. And if you do not break free from those things now, they will rule your life forever. Most people will never understand this. They will continue waiting for something to change, never realizing that they were the ones meant to create the change. But those who do understand, they become unstoppable. They refuse to be controlled by hesitation. They refuse to be held back by obstacles. They refuse to wait for the right moment, knowing that the right moment is the one they choose to act in. So what will you do? Will you keep waiting for someone to save you, for motivation to return, for life to make things easier? Or will you take control, move like the river, and refuse to stop until you have shaped your own destiny? Because once you do, once you decide that nothing, not fear, not failure, not uncertainty, will stop you, then and only then will you become truly unstoppable. But here is the harsh reality. Discipline is not easy. It requires effort. It requires sacrifice. It demands that you reject comfort, that you refuse to listen to the voices urging you to quit, that you keep moving forward even when every instinct within you screams to stop. Discipline demands that you choose what you need over what you want in the moment, that you prioritize growth over comfort, that you stand firm in your decisions even when the world pushes against you. And most people, sadly, will never accept this reality. They will choose short-term comfort over long-term achievement, temporary pleasures over lasting greatness. They will convince themselves that discipline is too difficult, too restrictive, too painful, and they will pay the price, a lifetime of unrealized potential, a lifetime of regret. But here's the truth. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Discipline is the bridge between who you are now and who you want to be. Discipline is the key that unlocks your greatest potential. Most people will never grasp this. They see discipline as a burden, something to be endured. But those who rise above see discipline for what it truly is, a tool, a weapon, a pathway to becoming unstoppable. Discipline is the force that allows you to direct your life intentionally rather than letting life direct you. It gives you clarity amid chaos, strength in adversity, and peace in moments when others feel panic. Ask yourself honestly, how disciplined are you, truly? How often do you choose comfort when you should be choosing growth? How many opportunities have slipped away because you hesitated just one moment too long? Because every opportunity that passes, every second you hesitate, every choice made from fear instead of strength, leads you further from the person you were meant to become. But it's never too late to reclaim your discipline, never too late to decide that you will no longer be controlled by hesitation, by fear, by comfort. You must begin now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when the moment feels right, because the right moment will never arrive. Those who rise, those who transform their lives, are the ones who begin immediately.